have something kind of exciting to announce with Jase Medical. Now, Jase, so you know, full disclosure, is a client of this program. I do commercials for them, but we have a deeper relationship than just that. We actually have both many times been on the same scenes of disasters, and we keep seeing each other at the disasters. Like, we should work together on this. Dr. Shawn Rowland is with us now. He is the founder and CEO of Jase Medical. First, let me, before we get into that, let me ask you about how fragile this whole system is. Most people don't understand. Our generics, 80% of our generic drugs, all come from China. So that is trouble, whether there's a shutdown in the shipping or anything like that. We're having a problem right now with IV bags, a massive shortage of IV bags, where all of the hospitals in America now are starting to ration the IV bags because once they're out of that, they're out. And it comes from the company that was wiped out last time in Puerto Rico. They decided it was too difficult to build them there because of hurricanes, so they moved to North Carolina and were wiped out again. I mean, we really don't have any idea how fragile things are.
There's so many pieces, right? Like we were just talking about that, the IV bags. Well, what about the tubes that go from the IV bag, right, the actual IV? There's so many pieces to this supply chain, and you're right. It's just, I guess I don't get tired of saying it because it is what we're all about, but it's a knife's edge that we live on, that on any given day, you go to the pharmacy, and we hear it from our customers and patients all the time, where they were able to get into their doctor. They were prescribed a medication for some illness, an antibiotic, and they went to the pharmacy, and the pharmacy said, "Oh, we're out. We can get it in about 2 or 3 days." Yeah. Well, I'm sick today. I have a bacterial infection today. I can't wait 3 days. Yeah. And in some parts of the country where you can't just go to the pharmacy next door, that's a real problem. And again, that's just one aspect of a really complex supply chain that is just it's not just ripe for disruption. It is just being disrupted on a daily basis.
I know, we were dealing in the hurricane with people who had diabetes, needed insulin, didn't have insulin. My daughter has really bad grand mal seizures. Can't get the medicine. When that stuff kind of happens, you're in full-fledged panic.
Yeah,
panic.
Yep, you're beholden to a lot of other people who are, your health is in their hands, and that's just, we're all about empowering people to take that control back.
So let me go over now the announcement that Mercury One and Jase Medical made yesterday together.
Yeah, you brought up, you mentioned it previously, where we, Mercury One and Jase, we've been at these, unfortunately, in a lot of these disasters where we cross paths, whether that's Lahaina, whether it's, we've donated medications to North Carolina, and there's a common thread, I think, in all of these situations that I've encountered personally. I've heard you speak about it too, which is, you get this initial influx of support, whether that's food, water, clothing. There's a lot that's needed in these situations, but it seems like that really often repeated unmet need is the individuals, because it's individual, their healthcare needs are so individual that how do you just send a pallet of medications because it needs to be individualized to each person. And it's just an unmet need that I've seen time and again in these disasters. And so partnering with Mercury One is, honestly, it's a dream come true for us as an organization. Mercury One is already doing so much good, has the resources, is in all these different places that will now allow us, through this partnership, I think we can do so much good in a way that has previously really just been a big hole in this disaster response.
So what is the hole that you guys are going to now fill?
So the approach is number one, I think that first and foremost is providing the medications and the medical supplies. Prescription medications, non-prescription medications, supplies like IV bags, those kinds of things. But you can't just flood a situation. Flood's not the best word. You can't just provide a bunch of supplies without the right personnel to dispense those supplies.
Right.
So that's the other component of this, is providing the qualified healthcare professionals, people who know how to operate in these kinds of these situations where this austere medicine, expedition, wilderness medicine, you might call it, and disaster medicine, where they know how to safely operate in places that are unsafe, and provide the individual medical care that's needed. And then the last component is the educational outreach, to approach these communities, hopefully beforehand, approach government organizations, communities. Here's the disaster-prone area that you live in. How can we help you be prepared before the hurricane hits, and play a role in that preparation?
We've talked about this privately off air several times, that I think every community should get together either with their community leaders or just some of the fat rich people that are in your community, and they should be talking to you about what does my community need? Because I know these community hospitals, they don't have a deep supply of stuff. All of the hospitals really rely on trucks coming in and resupplying all the time.
Daily, yeah.
And if a major thing goes down, who has the medicine? If you don't have some plan to be able to have that medicine there in case of a massive emergency, you're kind of in trouble as a community. And I really truly believe when tough times hit, really tough times, the way we survived the Great Depression was communities helping each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And right now, the only kind of resource that we have if things go down is the United States government. And that's just not going to do it. It's not going to cut it.
That's what I want to do today is put the call out to all these, to the community, like you mentioned. In my experience, in the wildfires in Maui, it was the community that
it always is.
It was the community. It wasn't FEMA. It wasn't. No. Certainly, they showed up about a week later, and I'm sure they helped, and so did the Red Cross and everyone. There's a lot of people pitching in, but it was the community that was there the moment after, and is still there today when everyone leaves. And so, putting that call out to the community, where wouldn't it be great if we just had an army of Jase responders, of got people who, whether they're ex-military, but people who have the background, the expertise. And they're just already there. They're pre-positioned across the country. And when anything happens, we reach out to that army of responders. And we've got people who have been trained and vetted and can go in and really fill this unmet and necessary need of medical help.
This, I will tell you, is, I believe, truly part of a prophecy that Billy Graham gave me before he died, that it was not going to be big individuals. It was going to be just a bunch of individuals all over the country and all over the world that had a particular talent or gift and were told to just stand by, be ready, hold this one thing. And they would all feel like, well, that's not going to make any, how can I possibly make a difference? And he said, when the crap hits the fan, that was definitely not what he said, and probably too loose with words for Billy Graham. But when the crap hits the fan, these people will all stand up all around the world, and it will be obvious that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob did this, because there was no way that anybody else could have pulled this off. And I really think when I was when I was in Nashville, that came to mind, seeing these people who have been in the military, who are just doctors, who are just neighbors, all coming together with their one piece and going, I have land. Do you need land to land helicopters on? I have this, I have that. And it is these professionals, many of them veterans, that knew how to organize a field hospital, knew how to put together a landing zone, knew how to do all of these things that usually only the military knows how to. But most of them were from that local area. And so training our local areas all in advance, because it's going to be happening all over the world, all over the country. When crap really hits the fan, it's going to happen everywhere, and nobody's coming to help.
talk about God being in control. I think, and we talked about this privately before as well. This particular partnership, this is something that has been on my mind for years now. I've got people on my team who I kind of talked to about it, but not at length. You have people on your side in Mercury One, you yourself. We had all these individuals who were thinking about this independently, and then it all happened at the same moment, where we all just said at the same moment, this needs to happen, and it needs to happen right now.
Yeah.
And when that happens, in my experience, the few times in my life where that kind of interaction has taken place, I've learned to pay attention.
It's a God thing.
Yeah.
It's absolutely a God thing. Hey, I just want to say this one more time. If you're rich, what the hell are you doing? What are you doing? If you are rich and you live in a community that's not rich, you need to be there for your community. And I've already talked to Jase and Shawn and everybody at Jase about, preparing towns and people who have the means, or the towns that have the means. Just reach out to them. This is not a commercial. This is something I truly, truly believe in. Nobody has to pay me to say it. You've got to be prepared. Please help your communities prepare. Medication is going to be a real problem should these things come down. Just getting the trucks from one state to another may be a problem if there's massive civil unrest. So please go to jasemedical.com. Now, if you want to volunteer, and to be trained and to be the person, the touch point in your area, what you're looking specifically for doctors and nurses?
Yeah, people with healthcare experience, but not just healthcare experience, I should say. There's other support roles that would need to be filled. So really, just anyone at this point, it's a general call out, and then we'll go through and reach back out to people who meet the criteria. It's jase.com/response.
Okay, jase.com/response. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Glenn.
Glad to be partners with you.